This is Liam Rosenier's Chelsea violating Maresca's traditional positional football system where advanced attackers will be in the half spaces. This is risky, but it's entertaining to see a left back running like a central forward or playing like an attacking midfielder right at the center. This narrow pentagon is the crux of Rosenier's Chelsea. The very basic idea is to use a back 3 for territorial access, two dribbling wingers to hold the width, double pivots as the connectors, and two roaming attackers to manipulate the opposition midfielders. These shapes gives them a natural advantage in the first line, but the connecting line of two central midfielders will be more. Now the idea is to use them to pin the midfield line so that the other two advanced attackers can attack the space behind the midfield line. Any midfield line will struggle to keep track of both players in front of them and those space invaders moving behind them. This tactical advantage can be exploited by those disguised reverse passes. This won't work if there is no such movement and if it is directly played to the central forward, but Rosenior makes things easier for the attacking midfielder, be it Palmer, Pedro or Estevio, with this simple yet effective idea. This movement can also be seen from the left-sided midfielder too. In fact, this isn't a fourth midfielder, instead an inverted left back. This fullback inversion was also used by Maresca, but with Rosenior, it looks more extreme. The core idea is to attack the blind side of the midfielder. At the same time, striker will try to pin the centre back team. This is a risky version of Maresca's system, but when done properly, it's very entertaining. The intention of these two players is to disrupt the midfield line. We usually see the inverted left back a bit wide, but by giving him a more fluid role, Rosenior is going for extreme space manipulation. The central protector is overloaded here. By forming the back three, Chelsea is confusing the wide midfielder. Ultimately, Chelsea can break the midfield with this approach. Just imagine the real potential of the situation if it was Palmer receiving in between the lines. This movement between the lines will be the key for Chelsea in the upcoming games. If the opposition become very compact, the idea is to attack the space behind the backline. This one shows how exactly they intend to attack the space behind the block. Here both the pivots are tightly marked, so the centre back uses the space around the block. This half space access is a direct advantage of the back three systems. Now opposition has to reorganize and this will create space between the lines. This is where the spatial recognition of the attacking midfielders comes into play. As soon as the striker drops to execute the combination with one advanced attacker, the other advanced attacker made the run to attack the space behind. Now this is a fullback acting like a half space invader to connect with the runner. The interesting thing is that here we are seeing a right back in a position to assist this left back. They couldn't execute it, but the whole sequence just showed the potential of New Chelsea. Maresca showed glimpses of these ideas too. But as always, the question is, can these defensive fullbacks perform such technical actions consistently? This technical execution is what Rosenior has to solve now. Similar to Cucurella's runs under Maresca, Hato made many such attacking runs to attack the box. This is a good idea to keep that unpredictability in attacks. If the fullback is not making such runs, then he can act as that support player to the dropping striker. Now the winger should invert to attack the half space. Again, this is another fluid attacking idea which can be very effective when done properly. When looking at the half spaces, the attacks are initiated by the wide defender. The structure naturally creates those diagonal relations, especially when opposition is in a reorganization phase. In some cases, the typical pentagon will be created in the half space and this will result in multiple combination possibilities. This diagonal to the half space was a common attacking idea under Maresca and the same can be replicated with the system. It's because the narrow double pivot, which forced the opposition to be narrow, was common in both systems. Similar to Maresca's Chelsea, the wide dynamics looks the same in the system. The central orientation automatically creates isolated 1v1 situations for the winger, and from there, it's up to them to create something. It's mostly cutting inside to then combine in the half spaces or central regions. Here again, the movement of the left back behind the midfield line is crucial in unlocking such defenses. At the final third, it was standard positional play with all lanes occupied, and there weren't much creative moves up there. Since Charlton didn't commit to an aggressive man to press, Chelsea always had a numerical advantage in the first phase itself. So the build-up patterns were easy and thus we have to see how it works against elite high pressing sides. So overall, Rosenior's Chelsea has a lot of similarities to Maresca's, but now we can see more risky first-touch combinations. I think this can backfire in the Premier League as it is prone to dispossession. Since Chelsea don't have any tight space magicians, this style of play may lead to a lot of cheap turnovers. However, it is too early to make a conclusion and let's wait for more.